Hello and welcome to Drag Race TV LA's weekly recap of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 3, Episode 2. Will an injury prove fatal for Miss Victoria Scone? And did the right queen go home? We want to know your thoughts. So if you like to talk Drag Race, you've come to the right place. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Drag Race TV LA. This is Mark and Magenta here today. Magenta, I don't even know if I know your boy name.
We just go by Foxy.
Foxy, okay. Foxy and Lorayne. I'll leave Lorayne on my screen for you guys so you know that it's me. Because I know if that wasn't there, or it's over there, there it is, that you wouldn't know that it was me. Make sure you guys are following us on all social media, DRTVLA. Twitter is back up and working. If you guys saw, I got that fixed. And also, if you are a Twitch person, we are. You can watch us live on Twitch, DRTVLA on Twitch as well. Miss Magenta Fox. Overall thoughts on episode 2?
Not their best. Once again, I maintain I still love all the queens. The challenge, though, I'm never a fan of the let's do athletics challenge. It's never, it's never an enjoyable one.
You guys in that are, we have some people, Ken, Chuck, Peter McNulty, our Brett is in the house. Hello Kitty, I do believe is in here. What did you guys think overall of the episode? Would love to know what you guys thought of it overall. I will say this. I always like the mini challenge where they get awards and pick things like that. I think they're always fun. I'll discuss more about the fallout from that when we get to it, which will be shortly. Worst challenge ever, says Chucky Chuck, so I think he kind of agrees with you. Yeah, Chucky Chuck hated the episode. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't hate it. We've seen challenges like this before, which again we'll get more into later when we discuss the Maxi challenge, but and I'll talk about it when we get to the challenge, something that was said that I think is important for this type of challenge, but I'll get into that when we get it. I haven't seen the episode, but I've seen clips of the lip sync. Okay, Ken. And Peter says, and with Chucky Chuck on this one, the challenge was awful. Okay, so you kind of have the overwhelming majority on your side there, Miss Magenta Foxy.
Yeah, online. The online response wasn't too pleasing with it.
Was it? Okay, I didn't really look online. Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, let's get into it. Also, be sure to subscribe if you guys can. There's a little down over in that corner. There's a little DRTV LA logo. If you want to subscribe, we'd love to have you every week, 3 o'clock. When we recap this UK season or the regular seasons or all-star seasons, depending what's on, what we can do. And we do it with you guys live in the chat. So we love having you guys here. We love hearing your thoughts. We like to keep it, I mean, we're our bitchy selves, like, because we're good like that. And we don't mind you guys being bitchy in the chat. Just be kind to each other. And please don't go after other queens on social media unless they come after you first. Then I'm all for it.
Are we back on the Aunt Simone scenario?
Yes, exactly. If you happen to mention them in a tweet and you didn't tag them, yet they still come for you because they did research on Twitter to find comments that were being made about them that were negative, then I say go for it. Okay.
The feud continues.
Yes. She will be looks like she'll be at DragCon, so I will make sure I avoid her booth.
Just say hello.
Right.
Yeah, go She's
Also,
fun.
there was some more gossip that I kind of ran into. Buzzy Queen talked about it on his recap, his hot and rot for this episode. I meant to rewatch it to get specific things because I couldn't remember them, and then I forgot to do that because I got sidetracked here. But I'm going to get into that some more kind of behind the scenes gossip from Willem, actually. Also, let me just Odie Mabusi, Nancy strictly wants him and made her do this challenge. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll talk about her in a minute, Peter. Make sure you put that comment in later when we discuss her as the judge. So previously on RuPaul's Drag Race was the premiere episode. And after playing a spirited game of dirty charades, I should say that, a pointless game of dirty charades, the queens were asked to walk the runway in 2 looks. One queen of their hometown and their favorite things. With a surprise twist, the top 2 queens were told that they had to lip sync for the win, along with the bottom 2 queens lip syncing for their life. So Victoria Scone lip synced against Krystal Versace for the win, and Krystal came out the winner. And Incubus faced off Elektra Fence in the lip sync for their life, and Anubis. Sorry, I wrote that wrong.
Anubis.
And Anubis had to sashay away. All right. So after the elimination, after Anubis's elimination, they came back into the workroom. The only thing that I thought was kind of really interesting to discuss was that, and I had seen this on social media prior to this airing, is that this is now the second Brighton queen to go home first. I don't know Brighton. I don't even know where that is. I don't know what it means. I will throw this over to Miss Magenta. Is there something about Brighton that people don't like? I mean, I know Rue doesn't really know that. Like, she doesn't have any kind of stake in the UK and England and stuff like that. So you tell us your opinion on why these Brighton girls are going home.
I don't know why, because I don't think that either of them should have gone home on their first episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe it's purely coincidental this time around, though.
Okay.
I mean, you know, there's not that many freaking places in the UK compared to America, you know. So
yeah. Well, I guess
someone's going to go home.
Yeah.
Where was Gotham Kendall from?
I was just thinking that. I was like, wait a minute, where is Gothi from? Because this is actually the 3rd season, not the 2nd season. So this is the 3rd season. So
already.
I don't know where Gothi's from. If you guys know or want to Google it and throw it in the chat, let us know. So I just thought it was interesting because they had a discussion about it, and I had seen that on social media. Then the next day, and we'll get more into this at the end of the episode as well. But it comes up at the beginning of the next day. Victoria enters the workroom, and we find out that she has been advised by the medical team on the show to stay off her knee as much as possible. So we start getting a taste of this. Again, we'll discuss where this ends up leading. We still don't really know where it's ending up, but there is definitely more that comes up later. So we will discuss that. Peter says, okay, Peter's our UK, our UK, what's the word I want to use? UK brain. Brighton is great. Not as good as Manchester and Blackpool, but it's great. All right. I don't know.
I never visited Brighton.
I know of Manchester. I've never heard of Blackpool, so that doesn't mean anything to me either. Gothi is from Leicester. Am I saying that right? Leicester?
Leicester.
Leicester?
I believe it's Leicester, yeah.
Okay. Is that how you say it? Okay. Thank you, Chucky Chuck, for sharing that. All right. So then the mini challenge. Again, I like these kind of things. Rue says to Krystal Versace that she is tasked with an all tea, no shade out of Rue's mouth. Just want to reiterate that it is all tea, no shade, not no tea, no shade, because that doesn't make sense. Anyways, all tea, no shade assessment of the other queens, and played a Rupert Market sweep, where she had to gather badges and give them to her contents. Lester. Okay, it's pronounced Lester. Thank you, Pita. So the first thing she finds is the star by, which is her biggest competition, which she gives to Victoria Scone. However, she does say she's getting it because she's the biggest. Again, we'll discuss this more after I go through all the categories and we say everything. The next was Bargain Bin, the trashiest queen, which River Medway got. Next is the Hot Deal, the trade of the season, which was Ella Day. Out of Date, the totally irrelevant queen was Miss Veronica Green. And the Bogoff, which would be the next eliminated, which she gave to Elektra Fence. Well, let me start by saying, was there somebody that you would have given one of those two instead of who Krystal gave them to?
No, I actually think she did the correct responses. I love Victoria Green, but you had to go for the funny with that one. Like, she was already on last season.
Yeah.
No, I agree with the placements from what we know so far.
I would have given trade to who I said last week that I thought was cuter. I would have given it to Scarlett Harlot, but that's me. She's more my type. Boy, is she skinny too. I didn't realize how little and tiny and skinny she is, but you could really tell in this episode. But and I don't know. I probably would have given. I mean, if you were basing it on the episode before, I think Victoria Scone was right. I personally probably would have chose Kitty as biggest competition. Again, this is me voicing my opinion on how I felt.
Kitty who plays safe.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I don't know that I necessarily would have based it on what had happened the episode before, because I think you do get a vibe of people when you're in the room with them and hanging out with them. And I think that Kitty does come across as very confident and very strong and like she knows what she's doing. So that, to me, I would kind of lean towards that more than anything. Okay, here, let me put this up. Peter's saying, I think labeling queens with stupid names is out of date. That being said, the placement was accurate, even if it was nastily delivered.
Totally agree, Peter.
Okay, so I guess that leads to my good lead into my next question, which is, what was the real difference in what Krystal said or did versus doing the reading challenge? Because I think if we were doing the reading challenge and people were making fun of Victoria's size, which most likely, well, now they won't do because now they're afraid to, I just don't get, like, to me, this has always, like, they did this on All Stars with the whiteboard where they had to like vote people for stuff, and it wasn't made into the
deal,
a bigger deal as it was for this. So I want you to talk more about your thoughts on why it was.
It brings me back to season 9 with Alexis Michelle. Like, Alexis Michelle voiced her opinion on, like, let's not make the fat joke. And, you know, it's a low hanging fruit. You know, there are just, I guess, to be honest, it felt like 19-year-old schoolyard bullying in her delivery of how it did.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what people are relating to more. It's like, what is this skinny little 19-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
We don't want to hear it from her, if that makes sense. Which is a horrible thing for me to say, because it's like, well, that's degrading her age, and I don't want to be doing that, and I don't want to be bullying her for her face and all the work she's had done. Like, I don't think anyone should be bullying, and it is something that naturally we're always going to do. It did bring up a lovely conversation, though, and it did touch on something. It did remind me a lot, though, of the season 9 conversation. Yeah. But there does seem to be, when it comes to fat shaming, it's like the last insult, you know, that we can tell, and people feel free to willingly dish out.
Yeah.
And it's boring.
I mean, I agree. I think can I just put this up on the screen? I think that the queen,
no punchline.
If the queen gives you permission, then go for it. But if not, then don't bother.
Yeah.
I'm torn because I do agree with that to an extent, but I'm also, you know, and I get it. Like, I'm always preaching for the big queens and like we need to get more respect and stuff like that. And I understand that making fun of that isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
That being said, I truly don't think Krystal meant it in a harsh way. I think
Not at all.
Krystal, well, but I think that Krystal was, she's on a reality TV show where she has to assign these things. And I mean, I can guarantee you, producers said to her, be as shady as possible, you know, voice your opinion, don't, you know what I mean? Like that. So I think she was doing what she was directed, I'm putting air quotes, to do.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, I understand that Victoria has issues. We've discussed our own personal issues with it and stuff. I think, I don't know, like, I'm torn. Like, I get it and I don't get it, and I'm okay with it and I'm not okay with it. I'm kind of
the way I look at it, right? The way I see it is, if that joke had come out of Kitty's mouth, it would have been hilarious. There's an equal field of making that joke and that reference. It's like a white queen can't turn around to a black queen and make a racist joke. It's not funny. But if a black queen wants to do it to another black queen, there's a sense of togetherness within that humor that doesn't look like an attack. And at the end of the day, when a skinny little 19-year-old is going to turn around to an adult and make a fat joke, it's not going to read.
I agree.
There's other ways to do it. This is what happens when you put teenagers on a reality show, though. And she, like, at the end of the day, she's a teenager. And it's not going to come across as.
But I still believe that I still don't think Krystal was doing it in a malicious way. I think she was doing it, whether it came across the way that it should have or not, it's another story. But I think Krystal should have just said, look, I was playing, like, we're on a reality TV show. I was doing what I was told to do. And I was just doing that. I made, again, it was the low-hanging fruit. I get it. Like, it's an easy joke. And we say that all the time when we do the reading stuff. I'd rather, be creative, come up with something, smarter. Yeah. Don't just go for the easy joke. So I get that part of it, but that's not what was being said about it. It was being made into Krystal being vicious towards Victoria. And I will 1000%, and I don't even know Krystal, I could see that she wasn't being malicious. I could see that she was playing along with a game that she was given to do on a reality show.
I don't think the reason why people are so up in arms is that she made the joke. I think people are more angry that they feel she got rewarded at the end of the episode and still made that joke do you know what I mean? It almost felt like you did a really shitty thing. We've had a whole lovely conversation, dialogue about it, and now we're going to give the reward to the person that did the shitty thing. I think that's what's gotten to people more than anything else, subconsciously, though. I don't think people realize that it's that subconscious factor that's getting to them more than anything else. And I don't think we should be bullying a teenager, but I also don't think a teenager should be on this show.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
In my opinion, it's excessively clear that the show likes Krystal Versace, and Krystal Versace
100.
will be in the finals. Like, I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that she will not be in the finale.
She will be.
Absolutely.
And she will probably win the whole thing.
Probably.
She'll get her redemption.
I'm even more convinced of it after this episode than I've been at all. All right. Well, let's move on from that. Let's not dwell on it. Let's let social media take control of this world.
Absolutely. We've all gotten that out of our systems now. Now on to everybody else, because this show isn't just the Krystal show.
Right. And I thank you guys in the chat for sharing your thoughts on that as well. It just happened on Holland. The host told a queen she was too fat to wear small clothes. That's true. That's true. It did happen on Holland. All right. So the Maxi Challenge was to become dance instructors for an online fitness concept called Dragoton. They would be working in 3 groups. Group number 1 was Choriza. My autocorrect always puts chorizo. Choriza, Vanity, and Elektra. They were the ride and die team. They would be on the bikes, the Peloton bikes. Krystal, River, Veronica, and Kitty would be the ball busters, using fitness balls in their routine. And Charity, Victoria, Scarlett, and Ella would be the baby sizers, working out with their babies, moms working out with their babies. And then they all would be working with Strictly Come Dancing champion. I've been practicing all day and now I'm drawing a blank. Oti Mabasi.
Just say Odi.
Odi Mabusi. Odi Mabusi? Am I saying that right?
Odi Mabusi.
Odi Mabusi, yeah. And Peter mentioned that she is like the Beyonce of Strictly Come Dancing. So it was a good get for the show.
Those in America who don't know what Strictly Come Dancing is, that's just the UK version of Dancing with the Stars.
That's what I figured. Okay,
yeah.
That's a good, yeah. Sorry, took a drink of my water there.
That's why I'm drinking my wine.
So I guess on paper, knowing that this is somewhat of a dancing challenge, on paper, obviously we know who does well and who doesn't. We've seen the challenge. But before that, who did you think, was there anybody that you were like, this person should do really well?
Well, I thought Elektra Fence. If it was a dancing, but it wasn't a dancing challenge.
No.
To me, this was more like season 3, the aerobics Oz style, whatever is what we'd call it back home, but whatever the aerobics challenge was. It felt to me more like that's what they were going for. And I think had they been separate groups and they had done 3 segments, this challenge would have worked a lot better. Having them all on stage, normally by this episode in the UK, it's usually the Rusical. So it feels like this was in replace of Rats or, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It just, if it's a dancing challenge, make it a dancing challenge, not a bike ad.
Yeah. Well, and this is what I was referring to earlier is OT says, it doesn't matter if you can dance or not, just if you bring yourself to the performance. So I do think when all was said and done, that is what they were looking for. I don't think I think that's why Choriza did well and she was safe, because when you watch that, you got an idea of who Choriza was. You got her personality. You got all that stuff. I think with Elektra and Vanity, it was more like you were just kind of left guessing, who are they? What what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that again, I feel like sometimes when you're on the show, easier said than done because we're watching after it's been filmed and everything. But I think there are little nuggets that are thrown at you by the judges and by Ru that you really need to listen to. And I think they all needed to listen to that, because I think that the people that were in the top did deserve to be in the top. I didn't really disagree with the tops and bottoms necessarily this week, but I think the reason that the ones that were in the top were because they were so over the top and showed their personality. So MJ is saying, Chucky Chuck is saying to MJ, sorry, it was hard as hell to judge because everything was going on at once and it was just a cluster. And MJ saying too, it was messy. I couldn't tell what it was about, who did well, who did. I just didn't get it.
And I watched the episode twice. Once when it first came out, and I tried again yesterday, and I'm sat here today going, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about today because I just don't know what happened.
And I'm gonna. When I mentioned this in the teaser earlier, and I'm gonna do it again just to tease you guys to stick around to the very end. I think some information that I retrieved online will shed some light on some of the chaos of this number.
Yeah. And I believe I spoke about this thing last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get more into that later.
We'll get there. We'll discuss.
We'll get there. The only thing really that, I mean, the rehearsals were the rehearsals. You know, I didn't think that anything was really profound. I felt like the only thing that kind of surprised me was Charity seemed very confident in the workroom that she was going to do well and like she could pick up choreography and this and that. But when it came down to it, she seemed really flustered in rehearsal, which ended up leading to her being in the bottom. But that was the only thing that kind of surprised me. I felt like everybody else kind of admitted whether this was going to be their weakness or not. But I thought it was interesting. And then the other thing was, I just thought I'd give you an opportunity, and you guys in the chat as well, if you have any comments on Veronica's leotard.
The leotard, no, but the rehearsal with the ass. Oh, it made
I mean, you go, girl. You go, girl. I mean, I would never in a million years. I don't even know that I would wear that alone by myself. I wouldn't even want to see myself in that. But you go, girl. I mean, she knows how to get the camera on her. So
look, exactly, and she's getting the camera on her.
And she is. All right, so let's get into the runway and the challenge. Category runway is red carpet showstoppers. Again, our guest judge on the panel, who also choreographed, was Oti Mabusi. And then Michelle was joined with Alan Carr and Rue. My eyes still hurt, Peter says. I'm assuming that's in regard to Veronica Green's leotard. What does this say? Hold on. Bite Back. Wait, what is this? What's the name? Bite Back is back. I would have died if Krystal pinned the out-of-date sticker on RuPaul. Oh my God, that would have been hysterical. Oh my God, that would have been, yeah.
I would have said, where's Michelle?
Where's what?
Where's Michelle?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's, I have photos of the tops and bottoms. We'll go through those, and then we can also talk about the challenges as we're looking at the photos. So first photo I have is Miss Kitty Scott Claus. I will grab her image. What was your thoughts on Kitty's runway and?
The Marilyn. Do you know what I'm finding a lot this season is we seem to be getting a lot of repeats outfits that we've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the Marilyn dress, at least 3 times now.
Mm-hmm.
Constructed beautifully. She looks amazing in it. Yeah. But it's not a Madonna challenge. It's not a Marilyn challenge. So, bump it up, girl.
Ed, your thoughts on her performance?
Oh, God, she was hilarious. Should have won. From her performance and Choriza were my 2 favorite performances.
Yeah. I think I agree. I didn't hate the runway. Again, I like Kitty. She, so I'm always gonna downplay anything bad that she does.
Beautiful. It's just I've seen it.
And I have seen it. I just thought it was really well done. I wish the hair was a little bit bigger. But other than that, I thought she really looked well and she put together. I will say this. I did watch the fashion photo review of this. It's Raven and Bimini Bambulash who are doing the fashion photo review of the season. And Bimini said, well, I'll be honest, I know Kitty, and I 1000% expected her to walk out in this. So I think it's very Kitty.
It's very Kitty.
I know she liked pink. I mean, we're seeing a pink. I mean, she came in pink and now she's wearing pink again. I have a feeling this is not the end of pink with Kitty. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. And I thought her performance she was one of the people after watching it the first time that I was just like, she was so good. Like
she was
just
on the
so good. Just, I mean, I could not believe
she's a standout to me. She was the standout. And wouldn't it have been a great narrative after having the the size conversation
Right.
to have rewarded the right person of that size with the win.
Yeah. I like that.
In my opinion.
I don't hate that idea.
But, you know, she deserved, and it's because she deserved it, not because it was a,
Yeah. Peter agrees with you. It was good, but nothing original. I didn't think it was original either, but I thought it was really good.
What was the theme of the runway?
It was red carpet showstopper.
Thank you. Okay.
I mean, I guess if you look at it from a like when Madonna did that, when Marilyn did that, it was a showstopper. It's an iconic look. So I get that aspect of it. But I think, again, you're on a reality show with a runway challenge. You need to, and again, I also understand that you can't necessarily afford to have everything remade. So sometimes you just have to pull out at what you've got. And I thought it was beautiful. I thought she looked gorgeous. So I did think she deserved the win as well.
And her photo shoots in it, like for Instagram and all that. I'm not disputing. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
10 times better than last week's presentation on the runway.
Agreed.
But, you know, we've seen it.
Yeah. Next up is Krystal Versace. Your thoughts on Krystal's runway, the green with the breastplate and the blonde hair?
It personally does nothing for me. It's a lovely silhouette. I don't think she's the right head size for that breastplate, proportion-wise.
Yeah.
This is one time I would say that a skinny queen should probably do the no chests for proportions.
Yeah.
Beautiful dress. Whoever made the dress did a great job.
Yeah. Chucky Chuck says a bodysuit with a cape around her waist and barely a wig. That's a good description.
And Chucky, that's just the style of drags going in these days. For some reason, it just seems to be the new norm. That's long gone is the volumized hair. It's just it's about style and structure now. It's just a phase we're in. This is just the new generation's hair. You know, it's not something I personally could pull off. It doesn't look good on me. But style-wise, it's welcome to 2021.
Yeah. And Krystal's performance in the Maxi Challenge.
Fine.
The
perfectly fine.
The winning performance
was not a winning performance. It was a perfectly fine, safe to high. But I don't think anyone did a terrible performance tonight.
Yeah.
But that being said, I didn't know what I was watching either. So it was a hard one to judge who's in the top and who's in the bottom, because it was a hard one to judge. And I'd say the runway probably played a big part in the tops and bottom in the placements this week. And they're always going to put Krystal in the top for fashion.
Yeah. Good point. Chucky Chuck says Michelle was all about bigger wig on all the other queens except for her. She praised her up and down. Agreed.
But she's got too small a head to wear a big wig. Like she doesn't have the head to pull off big hair.
Yeah.
Like a medium-sized bump would look extremely like high on her.
Yeah. Peter says it looked like a cheap version of a look Vanjie did on her season. This is what I was going to say about Peters. Also says, I don't remember Krystal in the challenge. What did she do? I think part of my reason for being so completely shocked that she was in the top and the winner was, sorry, spoiler alert, is when I rewatched it, I noticed you couldn't see her. She wasn't spaced properly. She was standing right behind River almost the entire shot. So you couldn't really see Krystal. So I don't know if that's part of the reason why I just was kind of thrown. Because I didn't really see her. The look for me, I mean, I've said this before. I think if anybody else who didn't have a 19-inch waist came out in that, I think they would have been read for filth. I mean, it's honestly like, I know I'm going to get screamed at for saying this, but if you cut a V-neck in Elektra Fence's gown, that's the same dress.
Didn't Ginger Minge and Jan literally just wear practically the same thing in All-Star 6?
With a floral print, yes.
With the floral print, yeah, when they were both doing their J-Lo moment.
Yeah. And again, I get that things have to be repeated, but it's just like, I mean, it was just praised so much, and I'm just like, really? Like, actually, I'm going to do this because I mentioned Elektra.
Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm filming, Dad. I'll talk to you later.
Gosh dang it, Dad. Get it
Sorry,
together.
Sorry, 2 seconds. Welcome to live TV.
I'm going to go. No, while you do that, I'm actually going to go, you guys, because I mentioned Elektra's look. I'm going to grab Elektra's now because I just want you to see what it looked like. Like, I'm sure you guys remember what Elektra wore. And her slit is more off center than Krystal's. But like, it's literally almost like if you made that into a V-neck and put the slit down the middle, it's literally the same thing that Krystal's Versace's wearing. And I get proportionizing, tailoring. I get all that. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's really not that different. It's green of the same fabric. It's billowy sleeve. It's a long thing with a leotard underneath. Like, I just wish they would make the judging make sense. I agree 1,000%.
When does the judging ever make sense? When has the judging made sense since season 6?
Yeah.
Like,
the
judging went completely off kilter ever since season 7.
Yeah. Here, I'll throw Elektra's up there for you, Magenta. Your thoughts on her look and performance?
So I don't remember the performance. I preferred the look, you know, when she was doing the lip sync for Your Life. When the skirt came off, I enjoyed the hood. I thought, you know, there's a Star Wars reference that I wasn't expecting. If it was red carpet couture, no one's wearing that on the red carpet since 1999.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if, you know, again, like, I feel like if they wanted her to be in the top, they would have said like, oh, I could see you wearing this to a Star Wars premiere or a, you know, like a sci-fi red carpet or something like that. Like, I feel like they could find an excuse. And then I mean, again, it was way big. It swallowed her up. She's so tiny. She shouldn't be wearing stuff like that. I'll pop it back up again. I really did like the hair. I'm not going to lie. I actually really I love that kind of hair, that just short kind of poofy hair. I actually really like that. So I didn't hate the hair. I didn't know that it necessarily went with the look, but I did like the hair. And her performance, I did think that she was, her adrenaline got the best of her. I actually thought that as I was watching it. So I don't disagree with that statement being made. She even says on the runway, yes, I knew that I was, you know, excited and, you know, this and that. And I think it is like, you were just in the bottom. This is a challenge that you could really succeed in. I think her nerves got the best of her and she just got ahead of herself.
And if you're going to be in the bottom, you have to excel beyond everyone else in the second week to stay out again.
Yeah.
Love her. She's hilarious. I've been watching her interviews over the last 2 days. There's so much personality there. She's a wonderful, do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much that other episodes should have been able to shine so bright in that she never got to do. Yeah. And that's just the way the dice rolls.
Yeah. Agreed. Next up is Miss Veronica Green. Your thoughts on her runway, the yellow.
Or shall we say Jennifer Grey? Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Right?
I love the wig. I love the hair.
I actually really love the whole look. I love that she did a gold shoe with the gold bracelet and the gold belt, like everything was gold. Loved the hair, loved her makeup. She's got great legs. Show them off. Is the dress? I mean, we've seen this dress.
Didn't we see this on Jada Essence Hall season 12?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So it's not unique. But that being said,
it's gorgeous.
She looked beautiful. She looked stunning, and I thought her performance was spot on as well. Her and Kitty were the two that really shined for me.
Oh, look, put it this way. Would I wear that outfit? 100% yes.
Yeah.
Everything about it. And she was great in the challenge and she was in the top, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. See, her and Kitty were the top two for me. And then my third was Teresa. So that's why I'm so surprised Krystal got the win. Because I didn't even think she was top 3.
Agreed. I agree.
Bottom 2, well, who else are you going to put in the bottom? Like the bottom 2, I'm okay with this week.
Yeah. We'll get to it in a minute. All right. Next is Vanity. She was in the purple sheer with the purple wig. And what did you think of her runway?
The dress is gorgeous. And that dress, I think, in real life, without the purple lights in the background and the lighting of that stage, I reckon that would have looked phenomenal out in the real world.
Yeah.
The hair is wrong. This is a case where I will say that needed a bigger hair.
Yeah.
And that was proven by how easily it fell apart on the, for the lip sync for your life when it was able to get shaked out into a down,
Yeah.
It was held up by 3 bobby pins and not hairspray.
What did you think of her performance as well?
Can't remember it.
Well, and I think that's probably the reason she's in the bottom. If you don't remember them, or you remember them for the wrong reason, which was the orange hair, you're going to end up in the bottom, unfortunately. She didn't really stand out. I didn't really think much of her. I was kind of curious to see who they were going to put in the bottom after watching it, because I was like you, where I was like, I don't really know what's going on. I agree. I think in person, this would be probably a lot more stunning.
Like, it's a stunning design.
It was okay for me. It was just very, very, very okay all around for her.
Yeah.
And then last but not least is Miss Charity Case. Here is her runway. And
it's not be the last one, surely.
Yeah, of the tops and bottoms, yeah.
Oh, the tops and bottoms, of course. That's right. There was a whole bunch of safe pieces.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I enjoyed the look. I enjoyed the runway. Mm-hmm. The runway, like, it's got details that your eyes go to. It's, there's interesting things to look at. Like, I haven't seen it before, but it felt right. And she didn't do spooky yuki dookie. So without even having to be told by Michelle, am I going to see this spook every week? She gave us glamour. So I enjoyed the runway. Once again, do not recall her in the challenge. Like, nothing about her in the challenge stood out for me either way.
I remember thinking, watching it, oh, Charity's going to be in the bottom. She was just messing up way too much. I loved when she walked out that her face wasn't covered. I like that you could see that she knows how to do makeup. That made me happy. I do think the outfit was beautiful. I didn't catch this. I don't know if you got this. This was discussed. Bimini pointed this out on Fashion Photo Review. Her legs were hairy. She does not shave her legs. So Bimini liked that. Raven, not so much. I didn't notice it. So I just go, well, if I didn't notice it, no big deal. If I would have seen it, I don't think I would have liked it. Like, I'm like Raven, I'm like same generation. Like, I want you to try to look like a woman. Like, that's just how I do it. So that's what I want.
As someone who was a bit hippy dippy in high school in the 90s, all of my girlfriends had hairy armpits and hairy legs.
Right.
None of them shaved. They all went for that freedom flower kind of child thing. So for me, I'm all for that. I say, just have your hairs in time.
I mean, it's her thing, and that I say that all the time. Do your thing. Don't expect everybody to like your thing. That's all I have to say.
it's
and that's
something that you'd see on Dragula as opposed to Drag Race. And they are two different competitions, but it's totally valid. And
right.
I'm here for it.
Bite Back is Back wrote, Vanity gave us 1929 Oscars. Sorry, that made me laugh. Thank you.
Yeah, did they have races in 1929?
Right. All right. So those, overall, if there's anything else that you want to say about the challenge overall, I thought the girls who had the exercise ball, were hands down the best. Like, they just seemed the most together. It seemed the most coherent.
And Krystal was in that team, wasn't she?
Krystal was in that, even though you couldn't.
Yeah, because I just remember the face they pulled in on.
Yeah.
With that team. So yeah, I agree with that.
I will also say this. Go ahead.
I'll go. Well, I was going to say, you know how they put Scone on the seat?
Yeah.
I thought, wouldn't it have been better to have given her that challenge, like put her in the team with the balls where she is sitting down and create, so it wasn't so starkly obvious. Oh, you're injured. I don't know. I just felt like if you're going to put one girl in a chair, put them all in the chair. Make them. Do you know what I mean? Like, work with your team. In the real world, that's what we'd be doing.
Yeah.
We wouldn't like make it stand out like a sore thumb. We'd work a routine around it so that it's an even playing field.
Yeah. Peter just said, I don't mind the hair. The look just didn't feel authentic to her. I'm assuming you're talking about Vanity. When you say that, because we were talking about Charity, but Charity didn't have hair showing, so she had a little turban on. So I'm assuming that. And I don't know Vanity, so I don't know her aesthetic. So I don't know if that wasn't really her aesthetic, but that's an interesting statement. That's why I want.
Well, she's a year in the gig. She's still learning her aesthetic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hi, Literal Truth. You're not late. You're never late. The party starts when you get here. Who are these sexy men and sexy ladies that usually host? Yeah, it's it's way too hot here in Southern California. It's like,
and I literally didn't finish work until 1 minute before I came live on this.
Yeah, so we were forced to give you male realness,
just like this episode. No glamour.
Right, exactly. But thank you for popping in even late. We'll take you, Literal Truth. Thank you. So they were, even though also I wanted to say, and I meant to grab a picture just because I personally just thought she deserved a shout out because she didn't do well last week and she's kind of getting shit upon. I know we're only 2 episodes in, but River's runway was gorgeous. I thought she looked absolutely stunning. I thought her hair was beautiful. I thought the gown was beautiful. I thought everything she did was stunning on the runway. And I thought her performance was great too. So I just want to give River Medway a shout out because I think she deserves it after what she went through last season and for getting the sticker that she got from at the beginning episode in the mini challenge.
Yeah.
You meant Charity's hairy legs. Okay, Peter. Thank you. It gets authentic to her. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So even though they competed in teams, they were judged individually. If you haven't figured it out from what we showed you, picture-wise, the tops were Veronica, Kitty, and Krystal. The bottoms were Vanity, Charity, and Elektra. Choriza, River, Victoria, Ella, and Scarlett were all safe and sent back to safety. There was no lip sync of the top 2 queens. It was just handed. It was just handed to Krystal Versace. Again, I did not. And then the fact that when Ru was awarding it, also she only mentioned Veronica with Krystal. She didn't put Kitty in there, like as if she was considering Kitty. Yeah, really kind of surprised me, and I was like, really? Like, Kitty's just safe? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I truly believe, and this is my opinion, I think they should be judged on the maxi challenge. I think the runway should be can either like, I don't think the runway should keep you from winning a challenge. I think the runway just pushes you even further over the edge.
Yeah.
Or gives them something to tell you to do for next week, and that's improve your runway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But look, hey, if the rumors are true about poor Victoria, then I'd say we're going to see a lot more from Kitty going forward.
Yes.
You know, if what happens next week with Victoria, I think they're going to go, right, well, let's give all the narrative now that she would have had, and we're going to push Kitty Scott Claus with her narrative.
Yeah.
As well as, you know, her own. But I love Kitty. I think Kitty's great. Even from the Meet the Queens episode, Kitty was a standout to me. I think she's hilarious. She's what I love to see in a queen. Like, that's my kind of girl.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Everyone's saying Kitty should have won. Bite Back is back. Also said River was a pleasant surprise in that red carpet runway. Agreed. Obviously, I agree with that. Yeah. Peter's also saying, I'm glad that there was only one lip sync. I'm from the UK, but I'll say it. The UK lip syncs are hideous. They're painful to watch. I don't know. Not necessarily all of them, Peter. And
Not all of them.
I think there's some moments in some that have been really good. So anyways, so the lip sync ended up being Charity ended up being safe. And I think the runway should also be saving people from being in the bottom too. So even if you do bad, if you do a really good runway, it could save you. I don't think it necessarily has to, but I think it could save you. And I think it saved Charity because I think if her runway wasn't as good, I think she would have been in the bottom too.
And that's a fair point. And that's where it should be. I mean, look at the Thailand Drag Race. They really put importance on the two separate things.
Yeah.
But they're not judged like as the winner of both. It's like you won that and you won that. But if just because you win the challenge doesn't mean you can't get in the bottom for the runway.
Yeah.
From memory. It was a lot of
Georgina Lewis. Georgina, have you been in our chat before? I feel like this is a new name. I love seeing new names. Anyway, Georgina Lewis says, I'd like to hope that if Kitty hadn't done the Maryland look, that she would have won, but I doubt it. Rue loves her skinny queens.
She does.
I'm not going to argue too much with that statement, Georgina. Thank you.
It is what it is. And Krystal wouldn't have made the joke if she didn't think that Rue would go ballistically laughing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Rue's given the permission to make those jokes.
Agreed. Oh, Georgia. Okay, you are new. Thank you, Georgine. Thank you for joining us. We love having new people in the chat. Vanity and Elektra were the bottom two queens. They lip synced to Moving On Up by M People. And if you don't know who M People are, shame on you. That was in my heyday. Were the M People. I will say this. I will say this. I understand people saying Elektra should have won because Elektra was doing shit on that stage that I have in the decade and more of Drag Race. She was doing stuff that I've never seen drag queens do before. That being said,
we saw it last week.
I think, she did more than she did last week too, I think. But I think the problem was, and this is something that I always say, is I don't think it really fit the song. And I don't think she was living in the moment. She was just like, I'm going to do trick after trick after trick after trick after trick and hope that I can stay. So I think that was the problem. The lip sync reminded me of Latrice and Kenya Michaels, where Vanity looked like the performer and Elektra looked like a weird avant-garde backup dancer.
Right.
So this is why I'm glad Literal Truth is in this chat room with us again, because this is why I like Literal Truth.
It's literally the truth.
Yeah.
But I felt like, and if you go over to my Twitter from yesterday, there was a bit of a discussion on something I posted about when did drag become about dips and death drops and all of that, because in my day, back in my day, it was about selling the song and lip syncing and embodying the song, not about how many backflips and splits you can do, because when you see a singer singing live, unless you're Pink, you're not seeing those tricks. And even Pink doesn't do a death drop. She swings around on the aerial.
Yeah. I like Bite Back Is Back says Elektra was extra, saying that I enjoyed it. That's
See, Elektra's what I want my backup dancers to be doing while I perform the song.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Like, I want to see my backup dancers doing that for me.
Yeah.
And let me perform the actual song. And, you know, at the end of the day, Vanity performed the song.
Exactly. I agree. Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias and Georgina Lewis are having a discussion because Georgina mentioned that Ru likes her skinny queens. Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias said, well, unless it's Lawrence Chaney, because Lawrence Chaney won last season and she is not a skinny queen. But Georgina also made a good point. You know what I mean? The skinny ones get an easier ride. And I definitely would agree with that. I do think that they get an easier ride. I know lip sync. I want to see your lips moving. You know, and I was going to say this too, and I didn't say it last week, so I'll say it now. I think part of the reason Victoria did not win last week is there were moments when it cut to Victoria and she did not know the words to the song.
And now we know it's because she fell down, her knee popped, and she was in complete and utter agony.
Right.
But we know that she knows, we know that girl knows that song inside out because she's one of us.
I mean, we ultimately, and that's what I say all the time. And Drag Race is different because you don't pick the songs, the show picks the songs.
Exactly.
But if I am at a club and you are coming out to a song that you have chosen to do and you do not know the words to that song, do not come near me for any money because you're not getting a fucking penny out of me.
Absolutely.
Because you picked the song. So she's judging UK under criteria that don't reflect the UK drag is about UK hosts for a UK drag.
I agree.
Truth. Yeah.
But I think we're at that stage now. It's like, okay, thanks for launching the show in Australia and the UK, Ru and Michelle. Time for you to step back and allow, you know, our industry to step up.
Let me put that to the live chat that's with us right now. And if you're watching this later, comment below. I would love to know your opinion on you guys' opinion on this. Would you be upset or would you like it better if something like that were to happen where Ru says, you know what, I'm doing too much, I'm going to step away, I'm going to let UK do their own thing with their own judge like Canada and Holland and Spain does? Would you guys be okay with that?
I know I would be, and I'll tell you why, because of what we're about to discuss with Willem's gossip.
Yes.
If you are only going to be able to give one day an episode, which, by the way, is illegal, then step back, do your American ones. You're great doing it. Give them the time, because they're not getting enough of your attention either right now.
Yeah.
You spread.
I do think, and I think this has always been something that I have never, I mean, I can remember thinking, I didn't really necessarily know how to articulate it when I moved here. Now having been here for 20 years, it's still one thing I don't understand. I don't understand why Ryan Seacrest is the only possible choice to host every show in the United States of America. You don't have to tippy toe. You're fine.
Prior to him, wasn't it Carson Daly?
Carson Daly, right?
Carson had the monopoly before Ryan.
I just don't think that it's like I don't understand why they always have to have the same. I don't know. It's just my opinion. My opinion.
Mate, I'm not even in your country, and I say the same thing.
They're in my room. So Krystal Versace was the winner. Whether we like it or not. Elektra Jacque had to sachet away.
All right, then, people in the audience, raise your hand if you actually agree that Krystal should have won. Anyone?
I think, I don't think anyone.
No. Okay.
Okay, so Georgina says, no, you need Ru. It's in the name of the show. Also, I doubt people would watch without him. And Georgina Lewis is from the UK.
Okay, but Georgina, people are still watching Holland. People are watching Thailand. People are going to people just watch Spain. They're going to watch Italy. We're at the point now where Ru doesn't need to be on that panel in every country. Right. I think launching it in Australia and launching it in the UK was great. But back in Oz, do you remember the show The Biggest Loser?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in Australia on our...
Why did you look right into my eyes when you said that?
Because it was going right up.
Are you calling me the biggest loser? What are you trying to say, Magenta Fox?
I'll call you many things, but I won't call you that.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like in the Australian first season of The Biggest Loser, Bob and Gillian came over to be our trainers for the first season. And what they did is they then brought in 2 of their own trainers that kind of became their secondary ones. And then those 2 trainers became the stars of the show. And 10 seasons later, you know, it went on. The country can follow it up. I think it's great what Ru and Michelle have done. I can understand Michelle coming back and being permanent on the UK. She has a big stake in the UK. Ru doesn't need to be there too. Okay. Get in Lawrence. Get in, you know, the one who just did Scepter. Oh, God, what's it? Vivian. You know, get the Vivian to her. Get many of the former contestants to come in. Like, have Michelle there and then get a rotating roster of former girls. They've got enough now to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Same in Australia. Get Vanity. Get Carlotta. Do you know what I mean? We've got our own bigger. I would say get Dame Edna, but she's a bigger. She's more of a transphobe than Ru.
Well, you know, also too, and we talk about this a lot on here. Is I think, you know, ultimately drag is an art form.
Yeah,
and you know, when you go to a museum, there's certain art that speaks to you more than others. So I'm not saying, like, when I do this show, I'm giving you my opinion because we know that I like Kitty, and you know that I like Scarlett, and you know that I like River. I'm probably going to talk up them more. I'm going to find the good in them. Whereas things that I'm just not interested in, Candy Muse, I just don't, you know, I'm going to skip that exhibit, you know? So I understand that. I do think there is something to be said about, especially if we're moving this from country to country, it's so different in different places that I think that it needs to, I think there needs, I mean, I'm glad that they have like Alan Carr and Graham Norton and stuff on there. I wish Alan and Graham, though, would more often like speak up and explain things like we do when you were joined us for Down Under. You would explain a lot of what was going on.
Same as there was more of that for us, you know, like Reese, you know. But alas, it's just still the same Ru and Michelle. It's their same Kiki banter, and they're, you know, other countries have different cultures in drag, and it means different things to us and that's what makes it so great. But Ru's not in Canada, and they speak English.
Right.
She put one of her girls that didn't even win as the host.
Yeah.
It can be done. It's launched now internationally. It's not going to stop there.
Well, I don't think, I'll say this, I don't think it's out of the question, because I do think there will get to a point where Ru is kind of probably going to have enough. And like, I you know, physically can't be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and do it, Barbara Walters. Have your executive producer credit. You're still going to get your coin, and let the view continue.
Yeah.
With the new generation, you know, like it can go on, but who was I saying? I think it was Silky recently said about All Stars how unfair it was that the same judges from, you know, the main season were the All-Star judges. How much nicer it would have been if it was a whole fresh set of eyes judging them on now, that what they're presenting, and not what they remember from the past. And by God, do I agree with that? That's what worked for Project Runway. When they did Project Runway All-Stars, it was a whole new cast of judging. And that's what you need. You don't want to be judged on your past. You want to be judged on what you're presenting
right then and there. That's a good point. That's a good point.
And I hope they kind of look at doing that with All-Stars, but I think they need to start doing that with the international seasons now too.
Yeah.
I think if you're only going to allow filming one day an episode because of your time schedule, because you're doing 10,000 other shows, all you're doing is putting the franchise at risk by not allowing the girls to give the best that the show deserves to be, especially after the season 2 of That Country probably produced one of the best seasons in close to 5 years.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm not going to disagree with any of that. I also mentioned earlier we would talk more about this at the beginning of the episode. We mentioned that Victoria had gone to see the on-set medic who told her to stay off her knee. At the very end of the episode, she was called forward on the runway, and Ru said that she is going to require more evaluation and she would be sent away. She's going to leave the set and get her knee looked at by a physician, and they will decide if she will be able to continue. I think if she doesn't continue, it will be a big, I think someone's going to get very lucky because I think somebody who probably shouldn't be in the finals is going to end up in the finals, who could be anybody at this point. Because I think she was one of the ones I think that they were pushing to be in the finals. Your thoughts?
100% agree. Well, I mean, anytime somebody leaves, anytime a queen leaves without a reason of being eliminated, it's always a lucky moment for somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like season 9, Eureka could have been in the finals of season 9. As annoying as she was coming across at the beginning,
I think Eureka would have won season 9 had she not got eliminated. In my opinion, I think she would have.
She certainly had what it took, but the drama with Trinity was consuming it.
Yeah,
and she did great in season 10 as well. And she did great in All Stars. And, she's come a long way to changing people's mind to what they thought she was to who her truth is. And if Victoria goes, then we know she'll be brought back. And, sometimes that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question for Magenta. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah.
Chuck, I'm going to, because that's my next thing is our mirror moment. Our mirror moment. This episode, there was a lot of talk in the workroom. It started with Krystal and Victoria discussing the mini challenge moment when Krystal said that she was the biggest queen, not necessarily the biggest threat, but like the largest queen. Victoria talked a lot about her body issues and where she's come, and she had bulimia and all this stuff. Then that led Elektra Fence into discussing her issues with her body freckles. And then Vanity also discussed being the only Black queen on the cast. That being said, Chuck has a question for Miss Magenta. It says, can we talk about Vanity addressing being the only queen of color this season? And does the UK have a small group of queens of color to pick from?
Okay, so I'm just
Peter, and if Peter wants to comment too, because I know Peter and
please,
Georgia
and anyone from the UK. I know. Look, I only lived in Manchester for a year. In that year, I was too busy working a normal 9-to-5 job to go out all around the UK to go see what was happening in London, or what was happening in Bristol, or what was happening in Brighton. I can tell you now from my experience of living in Manchester and going to Canal Street all the time, is that there was only one queen of colour in all of Canal Street that was working on a permanent basis. Her name's Black Ivory. Even she wasn't Black. She was of Indian descent. No, now that's the totally different scenario in London. London has got a much larger queen base to pull from. But I will say this. I was watching something, I believe it was with Vinegar Strokes the other day, who said, it's like this. They ain't auditioning. You need $1 million to be a fucking drag girl, Ru girl. And if we don't got the money, what's the point? We're treated like crap because we don't have the cash funds to have these elaborate things. And that's the unfortunate thing about what the show's become, is that it has become about who can afford the best. I'm sorry, at 19 years of age, I couldn't afford all the plastic surgery that Krystal's got. So I don't know where she's getting money from. So clearly she has funds from somewhere. There are other queens who have had years and years and years of experience, so they've got places to pull from. But Veronica Green, she isn't able to pull out the costumes that she needed after getting kicked off of last season because she didn't have enough time or resources. Yeah. This is an expensive show, and all I've got to say on that is it's high time. If the show wants the queens to be in these, they need to start giving a costume budget that is capped for all the queens. Here's the money that you have for this season. We want the receipts. Everything needs to be done with this cash. Yeah. And that's what we need to start thinking again, because it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. Local girls, when the crowds come out to see us performing, it's like, oh, well, you could never be on Drag Race because you look like shit. Of course we look like shit. I'm not making a fucking $1,000 a show. Yeah. Like the Ru Girl is. Yeah. And I'm not going to go and mortgage a house to be on a TV show that is probably going to send me home the first week.
I think Hello Kitty says it all. I just want to see good old time drag again. I could not agree with you more at all. Peter and Little Truth are also saying too, like, there's just not as many Black queens in the UK. So, I get it.
You've got to look at our number differences as well over on this side of the world.
But I think that's a good point too, that a lot of it is financial too. Like you don't want to go on, and be like made a fool of because you don't have, can't afford this and that. That's why and this is something I'm still going to stick with. I just think, I really want somebody on the runway to say when they're critiqued about their look, well, the criteria to win is charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And none of those things say a rhinestone gown, a $2 million wardrobe. It's charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. So
which was so good about the first 2 seasons.
Right.
And I'm scared now people are putting the American standard of fashion onto the later seasons because we had Bimini with great outfit. Do you know what I mean? Now we're going to look at that and it's like, God damn it, can we just go back to being fun?
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about this franchise.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. All right. So let's get into the rumor that I guess it's not really a rumor. It's what Willem said on Race Chasers. And again, I meant to go back and get the actual name of some of these things because she gave somewhat specifics. I will disagree with one thing that she said though, because she's basically was talking about how this is the thing I can't remember. There was somebody who worked on the show. It's somebody that in the UK is mandatory to be on set to make sure that the cast and everybody is being taken care of. I forget the formal title of that person, but that person supposedly from this season has refused to return because of how the show ran itself this season. Typically, it's, from my understanding, 2 to 3 days to film an episode.
Yeah.
Typically here. In this season of the series, of UK3, they were filming 1 episode a day. So they were cramming what they would normally do in 2 to 3 days into a single day. So I think that's part of the reason why the challenge looked as sloppy as it was, because they did not get as much rehearsal time as they should have. There is talk, I guess, because and this is why we have unions, people, but I'm not going to get on a political tangent. But, and a lot of reality television doesn't have the same rules that like a SAG, AFTRA, which is the acting union that I am a part of. Thank you very much. Things that they can and cannot do. So it sounds like the queens were really run ragged.
Oh yeah.
This person who was kind of in charge of overseeing and making sure this didn't happen now says they're not going to come back because of how they were mistreated. It was interesting. I mean, go to Race Chasers, listen to it. I know there was a clip online because I heard it. Somebody shared it.
And Buzzy Queen did it on her latest episode as well.
It's on Buzzy Queen's. Yes. So go to Buzzy Queen's hot and rot for this episode. At the very end, she discusses all this, and she does a really good job of breaking it down. I will grab the link and put it in the description of this video as well. If you guys have trouble finding it, it'll be in there.
But yeah, in the UK, there does need to be a mental health coordinator purely
mental
because...
health coordinator, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So what it is, like Caroline Flack, who was the she was the host of, I think it was Love Island, ended up getting so bullied because of the show and whatnot that she ended up killing herself. It's very similar in Australia as well. Like, we've had suicides, we've had deaths over reality TV competitions, and the mental health. So yeah, especially in the last year and a half, there has been a lot of that put into place by the government and whatnot. And with BBC being run by the government, well,
right,
not the government, but it's not privatized. It's you know, it's publicly funded. So they have essentially broken a lot of rules with doing what they've done. But hey, they get away with it. Yeah. But it's getting to the point now where, look, I mean, the UK media, and we get a lot of it here in Ireland as well. It's just like all the trickle down. UK tabloids are brutal. Like, if you guys think that American tabloids are bad, UK tabloids are the most brutal, trashiest, vile, you know, vultures that there can be, which is why these measures are put into place. So, you know, reality TV it's easy and quick and cheap to produce, and it's, you know, it's time that, this is why I'm saying let the UK take over it from here on. Have Michelle as the judge, but let the UK take over the production of that, because it's going to show this season. You can already see it by this episode. Yeah. If you're going to run yourself ragged, mate, then do your All-Stars, do your Winners season, do, you know, your 10,000 other things that you're doing while you're trying to get the coin that you can get because you're in your 60s. I get that. I appreciate that. You know, you've done a great job. Yeah. Now let it go. Yeah. Relinquish and take an executive producer credit.
Agreed. You know, Literal Truth says maybe if we had them in the USA, things like this spiral of queens like Tyra Sanchez would not have happened. And I think that's a good point. I think, you know, like I just saw something, again, I'm not trying to get political by any means, but I saw somebody say something on TV the other day, like, you know, we didn't have the internet when the Constitution was created and when all these laws were made. You have to at some point sit down and go, look, things are different now. We need to reevaluate. We need to reconsider things. And I think, you know, I think it's also important too that we notice, like, at the beginning of every season now, one of the first thing Ru says to all the queens is quit paying attention to social media. Don't listen to them. Turn it off. Don't watch it, because she knows how, you know, how these fans and stuff can be. And I've said this before. You know, I was performing regularly at Mickey's, and I knew that they were videotaping us. I knew they were putting it on YouTube, but I never thought to go watch it again, because I lived it. So why do I need to watch it again if I lived it? And I went to go look at a performance because my boot broke during the performance. So I wanted to just see how it looked on, you know, from the audience perspective. And when I was doing that, I happened to notice a comment below the video. And I was like, oh, people are actually watching these and commenting. So of course, you know, you're like, I want to know what they said, you know? And boy, oh boy, like I'm not even exaggerating. I remember talking to Raven about it at Mickey's backstage, and she sat me down and she's like, look, rule number, if I find out that you're looking at that again, I will hit you. Like, you can't, and it was the best advice she ever gave. And, you know, when we were at AfterBuzz, you know, I never read the comments, because we would get a lot of comments on AfterBuzz videos because we were so big with AfterBuzz. You guys are wonderful on Drag Race TV.
Oh, 100%.
You guys only give us wonderful comments, so thank you guys. So comment below. I had told every panel that I was a part of when I joined, I would say, I will do this, but I refuse to go through comments and read things and look through things, because I personally don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. even just the littlest things get under my, and then it makes me second guess myself. It makes me question my abilities, that I know that I'm good at what I do. So I don't want somebody like that to bring me down. So,
and to that note, I'd even say, if you're going to go on one of these shows, don't listen to the reviews, don't listen to the podcasts. Don't come and watch us on your season. Come back the next season, do the seasons before, but don't put yourself through that mental trauma.
Absolutely.
And Paul River Medway has gone and done that this week, and I've seen her online. I think there was something because Bob and Monet might have said something, and it's kind of exploded because she's like, "Oh, I hate that former Drag Race girls are sitting there saying, nasty things about us." It's like, just don't do it to yourself.
Yeah, ignore it. Ignore it.
Every one person that says that shit, you're going to get 100 that give you love.
Yeah, but you're always going to remember the negative ones, and that's just how we are.
And look, I mean, you and I, we both have our opinions as well. We could easily be castrated and hung up alive because we've said something that has offended someone for no apparent reason, and they don't even know us. Yeah. And that's a risk that we take. But like you, I love the live comments. I love the live feed. You guys are also all amazing. But after this airs a week later, I don't go into the comments that weren't in the live stream.
Yeah.
Like, I won't go back to any, if I'll rewatch it, but I won't even attempt to look at the comment section.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I really try not to. I mean, obviously I have to sometimes for
but hey,
we pick fans of the week and stuff like that. But again, you guys are wonderful here. I feel like here, you guys are here because you like what we do and you want to support us and stuff like that. So they're really few and far between here. So,
and if you come at us here, we can come at you directly right back. Yeah, we can address it then and there. There's a big difference.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. My quote of the week for today goes to the legendary RuPaul when she said, nothing, what is it? Nothing against small hair as long as it's enormous. I literally laughed out loud and I was like, oh my God, that's so true. 1,000%.
Her wig looks particularly wiggy this episode though, Ruse.
Yeah.
There was a lot of synthetic shine going on tonight.
Yeah, her wig person is just not doing a good job.
Just a bit of dry shampoo, thanks, love.
Yeah. Fan of the week, fans of the week this week. I'm going to give it to Chantal Allen, who is a new subscriber on YouTube. She didn't comment, but she subscribed and she popped up. And sometimes I see my number changes, but then I don't get an alert that we have a new subscriber. So I don't know how that happens. But sometimes I do see when somebody's subscribed, and that one came up the other day. So Chantal Allen, for being a new subscriber, you are fan of the week. Also want to give it to Georgina Lewis, who is joining us in the chat. She said this is her first time in the chat and love having you. So because you joined us in the chat and spoke up and chatted with us today, you are also fan of the week. So thank you so much. Yay, round of applause.
Yeah, come back next week when we're actually in frock.
Right, exactly. Also a reminder and some news and gossip. Sorry, we're getting into news and gossip now. Painted with Raven premieres in November, so make sure it'll be on Wow Presents Plus. The actual date is not given, but I'm sure it'll be shortly after, if not right after UK. That's my guess. Also, the premiere date of Canada's Drag Race has been announced, October 14th, season 2 of Canada's Drag Race, with all new judges and new queens. So be sure to check that out. Also, Miss Magenta has, let me see what I did with this, because you sent me the video. Where did I tuck it away? Oh, here it is.
I've got a little something coming up.
You have something coming. You talk about it, and then you throw it to video, and I'll hit the video.
So back 5 years ago, I was doing a little web series called Opal's Pearls of Wisdom. Yes, I do have other characters that aren't just Magenta. I've got a fair few. I'm an actor, you see, in my other life, and we've got Opal is coming out of retirement with her new Advice Agony Aunt column show, and we're going back into production later this month, and yeah. feel free to write me your agony aunt questions, and I'll
yes, and we have a little snippet. If you want to see little Miss Opal, we have a little snippet.
Here's a little something for you.
Pay a little attention here. I'll play a little bit of this for you guys.
Hello, boyos, my pets. How are we? No, it's me, your Nana. Oh, I've missed yous. I have. I know I've been away for a very long time now. It's been 5 years, you know. So I've given yous all me lovely pets. But I'm back for you. So I'm ready and willing and able with all of your conundrums and all of your life's questions. Nana O is back with her pearls of wisdom.
Yay! She's back with her pearls of wisdom.
Back again. So if you've got any life advice that you need, just head over to the Gmail, which is dearopalkathleen@gmail.com, and write me your little letters, and we'll be answering your live agony aunt questions. Coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm putting your Instagram and Twitter up there too. If you want to contact her through that, I'm sure you can do it that way as well. All right. So we got a little teaser for next week. Next week on Drag Race is going to be a design challenge, Camp Couture. They have camping equipment that they have to make things out of. That being said, do you want to predict the bottom queens next week?
I'm going to say this only because I don't think she did phenomenally well last season with her design challenge. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Green is back up again.
I don't remember what she did last season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, from memory, it wasn't great. She was safe, but it wasn't great.
Okay.
Maybe not. Who knows? I just remember not liking what she did last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's back there.
Yeah.
As for the winner, I don't know who can make things yet. So
yeah, I'm trying to think. I know Charity Case talked about making her own costumes. I know I'm worried about Vanity because she even said that her husband makes her costumes. So I think maybe Vanity might have trouble next week. I mean, they showed Ella struggling in the preview. Ella Vidae. I don't know that sometimes we get those.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we get those, and then they end up being the winner of the week because they want to think.
Maybe,
so,
yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. But comment below. Let us know who you guys think is going to go home next week or is going to be in the bottom next week. We'd love to know. All right. I think that is everything. Anything that I didn't cover that you guys want us to answer? Wait, it says, is too bitchy to say that I hope that we find Krystal can't sew. Literal Truth, you complete me. Literal Truth says, is it too bitchy to say that I hope that we find out Krystal can't sew?
But we know she'll be safe if she can't.
Right. She's going to be safe regardless.
Because she'll sell it. She's so pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's doubting that she's not only going to, I think she's going to win regardless, but whatever.
Next week as well. No,
I don't think she'll win the challenge. I think she's going to win the season. I think the season's hers. And what do you think about Victoria? Do you think Victoria's going to stay or Victoria's going to go?
I think she's going.
Yeah, she said. Honestly, I was hesitant to say that she was going to go, but she just seemed so concerned. Like I could tell from her concern that it's more than just a bruised knee. Because she seemed very worried. So
it was just a big part of the edit in this episode.
Yeah.
Just like it was when they did the Kardashian the musical. How all of a sudden it was a thing that you didn't even notice in 2 episodes. I don't know. I've just dick in the soup. I feel it.
Yeah. There's a lot of it.
It was just, do you know what it was? It was Rue's last line, and I do not want you to go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And because I like her too much.
Yeah.
So of course. Of course, she'd have to ruin who I thought was going to be at the top. The
Right.
final.
Well, I will say this. If you guys want to know what we think about the next episode, just tune in every Sunday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we will be here recapping each week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 3.
Well, we won't be here, but our counterparts will be here next week.
Either Mark, or Lorayne, just depends on the Los Angeles weather.
No, I've got next Sunday off, so I'll have no excuse.
Yeah, I don't have an excuse. Well, I'm sure you heard me talking to somebody, and you guys are, wait, I thought he lives alone. I actually have a temporary roommate for a couple months, thank God, to help. So he walked through the kitchen when we were talking. So that's who I was talking to. I wasn't just talking to my ghosts in my apartment. So
and as we heard, I had to speak to my dad.
Yes. So 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, and what?
At 11 p.m. in the UK.
And 11 p.m. in the UK. So, Miss Magenta, tell them where they can find you on the social medias.
So on Twitter, it's Fox Magenta, and on Instagram, it's Queen Magenta Fox.
Yes, and you can find me on social media at the Mark J. Freeman, the Mark J. Freeman, like the Ohio State University. You're welcome. And yes, I do have my degree. Oh, it's not here. It's over there. Or if you want to follow my cross-dressing side, that's Lorayne Love. It's LORAYNE LOVE on all social media. And hopefully Lorayne will be back with you next week, along with Miss Magenta Fox.
Hopefully.
But thank you all who joined us live. Miss Georgina Lewis, who joined us live for the first time. Thank you. Peter, always wonderful to have you. And Chucky Chuck and Hello Kitty. It goes without saying. Do more. What does she say, Lorayne? What? Do more lives. Oh, do more lives. Okay, maybe next week if I'm getting ready, I'll go live. I just end up chit-chatting with everybody so that I'm not focused. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do a live next week. I have been enjoying doing them. It actually keeps me entertained while I'm getting ready. So thank you all again for joining us. We'll see you next week. Love you all. Bye. Bye.